You're listening to the Talking Shrimpers podcast, sponsored by Surgical Holdings.
Welcome to TSP. I'm Sensei Phil, your host. Reaction coming up as we try to unwrap the weekend games with Truro, Hartlepool, and we look back at York City, hopefully. With me is Charlie. We've had a few issues, mate, haven't we?
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. For anyone who's listening to this now, it's now 45 minutes later and about a fifth attempt. We have had an absolute nightmare, but fingers crossed now, we've got it sorted, and let's just keep going before any more problems.
Yeah, so before tonight, how's your weekend been, Charlie? What have you been up to?
Yeah, better than the last 45 minutes trying to sort this out. No, really good weekend. Really enjoyed the weather. Had a aunt's 70th birthday on Saturday.
76
Also, I
now.
laugh. We keep joking because we thought by the time this goes out, yeah, she's going to be a few years older. But yeah, really enjoyable evening with family. Sunday was just sort of chilling, really. And then was down at Roots Hall Saturday to enjoy that glorious sunshine. Although I do regret not taking some sun cream or a hat because I was absolutely roasting on the front row of the East Stand over there.
Yeah, it was really, really hot. Thankfully, I did remember my sun cream, managed to put that on before. But I had a fight with a lamb wrap before I went in and covered myself in chili sauce. So I went into Loose and washed that off as best as I can. Looked like I've been in a wet T-shirt competition. No one wants to see that, do they? But thankfully, yeah, front row, blazing hot sun, managed to dry really, really quickly. No one would have ever known. So, yeah. But that was Monday. Yeah, what else happened? Saturday, obviously, listened to the game against Truro. I've got a big jiu-jitsu exam coming up, my fourth Dan. So I've got a big weapons exam first in a few weeks. So I was practicing a lot of that in the garden. What else? And then Sunday, Sunday was brilliant. Went to Matt's comedy show up the road, up in Hamlet Court Road. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant night. Highly recommend. Such a fantastic night. There was 5 great comedy acts, plus Matt was there as well. Brilliant night. Yeah, highly recommend it. Great night. So
it's a free event as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just buy your drinks and enjoy the show. Really, really good. Very, very funny. Couldn't recommend it more highly. So yeah, that was it really. Shall we try and talk about some football? Do you think we got a chance?
Come on, we might as well. Before we get cut off, let's dive straight into it. We've got lots to talk about, haven't we, this episode?
Yeah, so we'll go back to, it seems so long ago now, but York City last Wednesday at home. 0-0 ended. Probably best 0-0 I think I've ever seen. What were your views on the match?
Yeah, it was kind of how I expected it to play out, to be honest with you. It's 2 football teams that wanted to play football, 2 really good footballing sides that I think in reflection we probably just cancelled each other out, really. You know, if York wanted to play, get the ball on the ground and play very much like we did. And yeah, it was, like you say, a really entertaining 0-0. As far as 0-0 goes, it certainly wasn't a bore, that's for sure.
No, I mean, defensively, I thought we were excellent, as were they. York, it's been well documented, the players they've signed. Ollie Banks he's a handful. I gave him a slap after. He said, "You're an absolute blooming handful, mate, you were." And Joe Felix was the guy I was really impressed with. Little guy, so much energy, up and down all night.
Yeah, it was.
What a player. So do you think that's the league winners out of those 2?
I certainly think it'll be there or thereabouts for sure. Like I said on the previous podcast, York have been up there last couple of seasons, haven't they? And obviously we've been there as well. And I think it just set us a really good sort of gave us a good idea of where we're at as well. And I don't think we looked out of place by any stretch of the imagination. Defensively, as you said, we were absolutely rock solid. I've been so impressed defensively. Goodliff's absolutely loving life at the back there and controlling. He's just a natural leader, isn't he? And Gubbins as well is now really coming through. So it's really impressed. And as you said, I think it'll be one of those 2 for sure, us or York, that are going to be fighting for that top spot come end of the season.
So Finn and Emily both predicted a draw for that game. Obviously got it spot on. Emily gets most results right, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a fair result, as you say. Both hit the bar. I think it was Austin, wasn't it? Sam Austin hit the bar for us.
Austin, yeah.
And
I mean, yeah.
Ollie Banks absolutely rattled our crossbar with a free
Well,
kick.
yeah, I was going to say, I was sat not far from where the free kick was being taken, and I said to someone sat next to me, because it was quite close to the edge. I said, he hasn't probably got the room to dip it up and over the wall. I said, he's just got to put his foot through this, and by God, did
Yeah, he
he?
did.
I think the bar's still rattling now, isn't it? It was a
You
hell of
didn't
a
want
hit.
your face didn't want to be
Fortunately,
in front of that, did it? If it
no,
hit
no,
it.
absolutely not. Unfortunately for us, it's hit the bar and away it's gone. And yeah, I thought Sam was very unfortunate that header. Just needed to probably hit a bit too central, really. A bit further into that corner. And Harrison Mayle in goal there, I don't think he would have stood a chance.
Yeah, I thought we dealt with them really well. Ollie Pearce, obviously, he's well known. Josh Stones have signed some great attacking players. But yeah, I thought
Yeah.
we gave them a really good game. And like I say, it wasn't your typical 0-0. Really good show. Just goals missing, that was all.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the big positive to take out of it was obviously the clean sheet, and just the display, up against a very, very strong team, who for sure they're not gonna drop many points this season, I don't think.
No. Now, going into obviously a bank holiday weekend, you probably would have taken that against York, keep the run going. And then obviously we had
Yeah.
Truro Saturday, long trip to Cornwall for a lot of the fans. The players actually went on a plane, got coach back. Unfortunately, because of the issues we've had tonight, we've not managed to catch up with Nick, the coachee, but we will catch up with him again, find out exactly what happened. But yeah, Cokes actually said to me that the plane was a bit rickety. He said, thought I was going to die. and from what I understand, the coach took about 9 hours to get back, which, is a big slog for those players who then got to play sort of just over 24 hours again later. But we come away with a win, 1-0. Sam Austin again. He's quite a little predator in and around that 6-yard box, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Sort of right place, right time, I guess you can say. I mean, I was unfortunate I wasn't able to go to the game, but what a hell of a turnout from the Southend guys. Over,
Yeah.
was it 700 or so that took that
Yeah,
journey? And,
amazing.
it's a hell of a journey it was as well. I know that some sort of stayed over and stuff to try and break the travel up a bit.
I haven't
So
seen that long
absolutely,
when there's cider and
kudos to them.
pastas at the end of it, is it?
No, and when you've got a win at the end of it, it makes it all worth the while, doesn't it? But yeah, go back to Sam Austin. He's a right predator in that 6-yard box, as you say, just right place, right time. And fortunately for him, I think he managed to bury his chance, because had he not, I think Gus Scott Morris probably would have had something to say to him. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Well, Gus had one off the line, I saw. He had a free kick as well,
yeah,
saved by the keeper. He went close twice. Reading reviews,
yeah,
people saying the first half was awful. I mean, you all predicted 3-4-0.
yeah.
To be honest, I didn't have it as that. I don't think there was any evidence that, we would go away and get 4 or 5 goals anywhere. We don't tend to do that. And, Truro, they've obviously got promoted. They're a decent side, and not been used to losing. They certainly weren't going to roll over for us. So I had it as a moderate 2-0, and obviously it was just a single goal in the end. But listen, you take 3 points, don't you?
Yeah, no, you certainly do. As I say, I think I sort of based my prediction, my 3-0 prediction, off of sort of the Gateshead game, really. I thought if we go up there and we go off on the front foot, there's goals to be had there. I thought defensively, they're probably not going to trouble us too much. And Gus had that header off the line. Literally, I think it was within the first couple of minutes again. I think if that goes in, then it's probably a different sort of outlook on the game. However, they managed to clear it. And yeah, the first half I was watching the game, and it's not going to be one that lives long in the mind and in the memory. It was not the best game, to be honest with you. I thought I think it was their number 11, I forget his name. He was causing us a right handful. He was quite a strong guy up top, creating a lot of opportunities. And they carved out one or two, nothing sort of clear cut. But then in the second half, we made the changes up top, bring Leon in, Kendall come on, and it just sort of put a bit more fire in the belly and a little bit more quality. Say Austin came on, and that little bit more quality and a bit more attacking options, which ultimately proved decisive in the result.
So 3 games in 6 days. Obviously, as we mentioned, with a lot of travel, our furthest journey for the season in the middle of that. Going into the Monday, we'd taken 4 points. We would have been very happy with that. But you're looking to get 3 points really on the Monday, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, first of all, like the National League, like who decides, these congested fixtures this early on in a
Crazy.
season with the travelling? It's absolute bonkers. It really is. But it's something you come to terms with the National League and their decision making, I guess. But nevertheless, we get that result on the Saturday off, that back home on the Monday, and against a Hartlepool team that again are up there. I think it was between the two of us. Neither of us had conceded all season.
Yeah,
Our
true.
previous, I think, 3 results were 0-0. So it never looked like it was going to be a goal fest. But with the travel and stuff, it was another test. I mean, Mayo was able to make some rotations within the squad, which was important. I think, he needed that for these last sort of 3 games. And ultimately, you can't help but come away from the game feeling a little bit disappointed that, and it feels a bit like it was 2 points dropped, if I'm being totally honest. I think the first half we were right on top, had some good opportunities, scored a great goal, early on, Harry Boy's ball across,
Yeah,
it
quality.
was superb,
Quality.
absolute superb. We know the quality of his balls. We had 2 or 3. Goodliff had a good opportunity. Dallas had a good opportunity. Um, and you just felt like we just needed that second goal just to really kick on. And then obviously in the second half, Charlie Kendall had those 2 opportunities, those 2 one-on-ones, and
Yeah.
shortly after, I think they get that lucky deflection. All of a sudden, they've sort of got the momentum, and in hindsight, it was a draw fair result. I don't know. Hartlepool probably said that they feel it was, but I can't help but just think with the opportunities we had, that it was 2 points dropped. But you got to look at the positives. The unbeaten run goes on. Again, defensively, I thought we were very good. Say it was just a deflected shot that they scored from. It wasn't, they didn't carve us open or anything like that. So,
Now, you mentioned
but
boys. I spoke
yeah,
to after the game, one of the players, Jamie Riley. He came out and the coach had gone. So I said, "Have you missed your coach?" And he said, "No, my girlfriend's in Hartford. She's going to come pick me up." I was like, oh, "Okay." So I had a bit of a chat with him, and he said, we to be honest, we came for a draw. We were looking for a draw, so we were obviously delighted with that. But he said the amount of balls coming in the box, he said it was so hard to deal with. And he mentioned boys. He said what an unbelievable player he is. That left foot, and keep giving him the ball because he just whips in such. I think it's 2 assists he's got now, hasn't he? Could have got a few more if he'd finished them, but yeah, he's looking a great player for us. Let's hear from Andrew Dallas. Spoke to him after the game. Okay, with me, Andrew Dallas. First of all, welcome to the club. Would you say 2 points lost today or a point gained?
It's got to be 2 points lost. If you're looking at the chances we created, yeah, 2 points dropped.
Should we maybe put the game to bed by half time?
Yeah, it was just one of those games. Even in the second half, we had a few more chances, but I think we can take positives. As a striker, I always think at least we're getting the chances, and it's not the other problem of we're not creating anything. So we're getting the chances, and I think when we start to click, especially at home, we'll be quite formidable.
So I was going to ask about that. Obviously, you look like you're forming a really good partnership with Charlie Kendall.
Yeah.
How easy is it to play with him, with other players like Keenan running off?
Yeah, I've just been training away with the boys and just kind of seeing how different boys work. So played with Chaz today, played with Hobbs at the weekend. So, I mean, every game's different. So I think the gaffer kind of picked the 2 of us to kind of get down the sides and be a nuisance for the back 3. So it worked well today. It just whoever it's with, we've got good players in every position, do you know what I mean? So it's not like there's anyone you don't want to play with, do you know what I mean? So there's quality of it all over the squad. And I think in parts of the we've seen that quality just without getting the result, but we're not panicking or that.
Yeah, no, I thought you played really well today. You were holding the ball up well, going into the channels, doing a lot of groundwork. You're very close to getting a couple of goals. Maybe a bit of match sharpness. You're coming away with a match ball today.
Yeah, that's just how it falls. Obviously, not scored yet here, but happy with my all-round play, just without that vital goal. Scored today, and everyone's saying, "Oh, what a player!" Do you know what I mean? But other side of it, it's like, why is he not scoring? So that's just the life as a striker.
It is indeed.
You just got to get the ball in the back of the net, and it keeps everyone happy.
And this season, you're going to have 2 games in 3 days with a 9-hour bus trip in between. You've got a week now before Solihull away. Yeah. What are you looking to take from that game?
No, I actually felt better today than I did on Saturday, funnily enough. But now we're still unbeaten. We're hard to play against. We've been able to create a few chances. Obviously, I know Solihull quite well, so a lot of familiar faces and stuff to be playing against. And I've had success at that stadium before, so me and Boise and the full team will be looking forward to it.
Well, hopefully we'll get some more success then. Yeah. Good luck. Cheers, man. Andy.
Thank you.
Yeah, really nice guy, Andrew. Really nice guy. I really liked him. And I think very fair self-assessment on his game. And like I said, definitely 2 points dropped. Could have made excuses about the long coach trip. I would have done. But no. They said, we see that as points dropped, definitely. Why do you think we couldn't finish them off?
I think it just comes down to match sharpness. Their keeper did make a couple of good saves, but I think Dallas touched on it earlier. I think it's really important to remember that it would be more of a concern if we wasn't creating the chances. The fact that we're creating those chances, sooner or later, those opportunities will be converted. It's when those balls aren't coming into the box, or the final third pass isn't quite right. But I think Dallas, as he said himself, he's just joined the group, trying to come up to speed with things. On Monday, I think a sharper match fit Dallas, especially one in the first half, he's burying that. I think he's hitting it first time, or his first touch is slightly sharper. But like you said, I'd be more concerned if he wasn't creating those opportunities. But I think it just comes down to just missed opportunities. I don't think it was. I mean, they did make a couple of important blocks, the defenders. Yeah, I'm not overly concerned or worried at the moment at this stage.
Would you say Dallas and Kendall is our best front line?
Personally, yes. I like the way they work. Dallas, he's got that bit more experience when he's playing. You can just see his movement off the ball and even on the ball. He's a good player. He can hold it up well stuff, so Kendall's got sort of the legs. You see him on, that first one-on-one, he had the opportunity, he turned his man, and Dallas was screaming on that right-hand side for the ball, but Kendall's just got his head down, and you kind of want that for your striker. You want him to be confident, and, he had eyes on goal, and that was it. And unfortunately for him, it didn't hit the back of the net. And you could see after the second one, and with his substitution, he was kicking himself. He was fuming with himself. He wasn't best pleased that he come off and the opportunities he missed. But for me, I don't mind seeing that. It shows, some passion and someone that cares. That'll just drive him for the next game. And fingers crossed, those opportunities will still come their way. And I think with Dallas, once he gets that one in, it's a typical sort of saying, isn't it? Once you get one, the rest will just sort of start flowing. And with strikers, it's a confidence thing, isn't it? And they need that first goal. Just however it comes, backside, deflection, whatever it may be, just they'll take it.
Well, looking at his record, he's had quite a lot of loans the last few years. Morecambe, Barrow, Oldham, Kilmarnock, Chesterfield. He's not hit big numbers, but that's really been in the last 2 years. Solihull, he scored 32 in 77, so he knows that ground well, as he alluded to.
Yeah.
Coming Saturday, hopefully he can open up, and he wants to be a striker that is known that he's scoring goals. And looking at him, I think he can. I think him and Charlie can be a really good false, if I'm honest. Once they get that connection, then I think we are going to see goals from them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, we've got the players around them to give them those opportunities and those chances. So, I don't think there's any cause for concern just yet. And, let's not all panic. We're only sort of 4 games into the season. So, let's take the positives. We'll move on to Saturday and,
So let's speak about Joe Gubbins. Finn actually said in our pilot that it could be a big season for him. He was right on cue, that boy, wasn't he? He's got his opportunity with Nathan Ralph being out injured. spoke to Ralphie Saturday and he said, his dead leg, he can't even kick the ball at the minute. So maybe looking at getting a scan. So might be an opportunity for Joe. And I think he's actually done really, really well the last 2-3 games. Yeah. He was involved in the goal Saturday. Very clever. Kev was telling him to put it back post to Gus, but he slid a lovely ball down the channel in for Boys, and we know what finished. And I thought he's, put a great block on to stop them scoring. Yeah. I thought he had a great game again. It's looking very good.
Yeah, no, absolutely spot on. He's taken that opportunity, hasn't he? Ralph's obviously, as you say, he's out for the moment, and it's for him to try and keep that shirt and that place, I guess. And by God, he's given a good account for himself. I think he's been absolutely brilliant at the back alongside Goodliff, and you can see the two of them is a partnership that is working really well. I mean, we haven't even spoke about Harry Taylor, and we're really blessed at the back, and Gubbins on. He's doing so well at the moment, and long may it continue.
Yeah, it looks really solid. I've got to say, it does look solid, and that's a great foundation for a team to be up there. So, once we start putting those balls away, then hopefully we can keep this run going. George Wind, was you surprised that he wasn't on the bench? Bearing in mind, we'd had 2 games in a few days, a long trip. Went with no defenders on the bench. Very brave gamble with Kev.
Yeah, I think he was the same against York as well, I believe. I don't think there's any defenders on the bench. So, I am a little bit surprised, but that's where that depth in squads come into play, isn't it? And, there's such a good core of players now. You look across the whole squad, there's no weak players. And unfortunately, there's going to be games where players will find themselves not included. I'm sure, Bridgie would probably like to have played a few more games than he has.
Yeah.
But that's the quality that we've got throughout the team now. But it's a positive thing, it drives those that are playing, to keep performing, because they know, if they any dip in form or they're not, pulling their weight, then their place is at risk.
One player I thought played well as well was Cav, little Keenan.
Yeah, Keenan's brilliant. He's just, he's just a little workhorse in the middle. His energy is just brilliant, and even just his strength. He's only a small guy, but he's a really strong. He kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Jack Payne. Do you know what I mean? Like he's a short little guy, but he's really quick on his feet, really clever with his feet, and puts himself about. And surprising how many headers he actually wins as well for a small guy.
I know. We I managed to do interviewing with him yesterday. Teammates that'll be out next week. Absolutely brilliant, very, very funny. But he realised how small he is, and you think, well, how does he do it? He's unbelievable pace and just driving at players. I'm just going to clear up because I thought there was a penalty. We both said it looked like a penalty. He did admit, took a bit of a tumble, took a bit of a chance to see if he can get a pen. So obviously fooled you, but didn't fool the referee. Yeah. So fair play to the ref. No. He gave him a lot of stick, but he did get that one right.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because we spoke after the game, and I thought the ref had an absolute shocker. But from where I sat, right. it looked a stonewall penalty. So who am I to guess? So maybe I owe the ref a little bit of an apology, but there were still some dodgy decisions. I'm going to stand by that.
Yeah, exactly. Right, well, that is the end of the first half. We've got coming up in the halftime show, Cav Miley on Teammates, about me with Lauren Johnson. So don't go away.
This is the halftime show in memory of John Gorrell.
Lauren Johnson, and I play left back. What made you enter into women's football? I've always been a keen sportswoman. I started playing sports when I was like 3 years old, and it's actually my dad that got me into football. I started when I was about 7. So my dad really got me involved in football. When and how did you decide to join Southend United Ladies? So I actually joined when the club first started with the youth setup. I was actually the first player signed for the youth team, and then I've been with the club ever since. It's a small spell when I was away at uni, but yeah, I've played for the club for about 10 years now. Which player in men's or women's football do you most admire and why? I guess my role model as such would be Bukayo Saka. I mean, he's a left footer like me. Who's the loudest in the team? I think it's got to be Molly. You can literally hear her from a mile off. But yeah, it's really useful, obviously, being in goal. If you could have a football superpower, what would it be? To never get injured. I think I've actually lost count of the amount of times I've been injured. Luckily, nothing too serious, but yeah, still not ideal. Favourite moment of the team has to be our trophy win in the 22-23 season. Just unbelievable. We had so many people there watching, and to celebrate with such an amazing team was a great moment. And my season prediction for the ladies team, I mean, I've got to say we've got to go for the win, really. Yeah, we've come second in our first season in this tier, again in the top 4 this season, so I think this year we've got to go for the win.
The Southend United Ladies with Emily and Chloe.
Hey guys, Chloe here. Unfortunately, myself and Emily won't be on the pod today, as you may have seen that the women's game got cancelled over the weekend due to lack of squad depth. This does mean our opponents, Need and Market, take all 3 points, but we look forward to giving them a good game when we play them at home later on in the season. As for us, it does mean that we drop points, so it is a very frustrating start to the season. Fortunately though, we do have a full squad for next week's fixture, so over to Pert for more info.
Hey everyone, after a disappointing start to the season, we can now look ahead to our League Cup campaign, which begins this Sunday at home to Colney Heath. Typically with this team we can expect a high intensity, fast paced game with lots of goals to be expected. In previous matchups it's been really tight games and can swing either way. With close to a full squad we can expect a high intensity game with a lot of attacking threat on display from both sides. Along with a few new faces to play for the Shrimpers, if you're able to get down to Garrans this Sunday, it is a 1:30 kick-off and your support will be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, what a shame for the ladies. Got a bit of catching up to do now, haven't they? Obviously lost the first game, couldn't fulfil a squad. They've been really unlucky with injuries. Obviously, Chloe and Emily, we know, are out with their ACLs. We know Molly's been out. Just such a shame, but they'll catch up, I'm sure. Like they said, they've got a great squad. Once they get going, we've got a cup game next week, as I mentioned, Conley Heath at home. That's 1:30 kickoff at the Garrans. Be really good if you can get down there and support them. And before Chloe and Emily, we had Lauren Johnson. She's captain this season, actually. Good player, very good player. So yeah, be good to get down, support them. They can catch up, can't they, Charlie?
Oh, yeah, I mean, you speak to the girls there, and they're very confident. Even listening to Lauren there, they fancy themselves this year, and rightly so. They've been up and around there last couple of seasons. They'll be disappointed about last week's result, but as you say, with the injuries they've got, they're probably a little bit thin on the ground. But this weekend will be a nice distraction from the league for them, and then we'll hit the season the week after. So I'll be going down. I'll be trying my best to get down anyway. So it'd be great to see as many people down there supporting the girls. Yeah, I'm sure that they'll turn things around. I'm confident.
Take some sun cream, Charlie, this time.
Yeah, I will do a hat, that's for sure.
Yeah, no bad wraps. I recommend.
Yeah.
No wraps. Yeah, take a hat. Yeah, that'd be good to see how they get on. In a way, no pressure, is it? They've obviously lost the first game, due to not having a lot of players around. Obviously lost game this week, lost the points rather. So yeah, it could be no pressure, full squad. Hopefully they'll go out and get the win. That'd be good to get their season underway. So yeah, that's Conley Heath at home Sunday, 1:30 kickoff at the Garrans. So go along and support them. Next we have teammates with Cav Miley.
Best dress. say Josh Walker dresses quite well, or Nor's actually been dressing all right recently. I'll give him that. Worst dressed, probably go Colin. Or yeah, I'll go Colin. Best and worst trainer. Best trainer. I'd say Nor. Worst trainer. Who's the worst trainer? Worst trainer. I'll go Charlie Kendall for the circle. Worst playlist, Colin. Team Joker. Gussie. Always late, Harry Taylor. Most intelligent, Tom Hopper. Who needs help? Leon. Who plays the most attention to themselves in the mirror? Most attention to themselves. I'd go Colin again when he gets them silly haircuts. Who is the most creative? What's the most creative excuse you've heard? I don't know about missing train. I'm missing that. Lads don't really miss training. Nah, can't give you one on that one. Who is the best training ground skills? Daz. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Cav Miley. Some interesting things come out with these teammates. There's quite a few trends you'll get to know. A number of players have been talking about Harry Taylor missing training because of his dogs having a fight. So one day I'm going to get to the bottom of that and find out exactly what went on, because it sounds a bit fishy to a few of us.
Yeah, it is side of the story.
Yeah, exactly. He'll go, what? I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, who's told you that?
But yeah, very, very interesting. Very interesting. Right. Next up, Solihull away, Charlie. Solihull have had a very poor start to the season. Draws with Sutton, Carlisle, Forest Green before they get thumped 5-1 home to Aldershot. Monday, another defeat against Aldringham, 2-0. So they've not started well. Looking at some of their players, obviously we've mentioned before Dan Creaney went there. That's 19 goals for Tamworth last season. He's only got 1 in 5 now this season, 1 in 4 or 5. They signed Oscar Rutherford from Daggers, 21, who's a player I really rate, actually. They've got a couple of loan players, 19-year-old Lipswick from Stoke and Callum McFarlane, 21 from Fulham. So they're a changing team, going through a bit of a transition.
Yeah.
And are they really there for the taking? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. As you say, they're also going through a transition. It sounds like they've got quite a few younger players sort of trying to come through in the game. I mean, they probably would have taken the draws against Forest Green and Carlisle. They probably would have been quite happy with that, because I think they're going to be two clubs again that are going to be up around the top of the league there, certainly in the playoffs, I would imagine. To take a couple of draws from them, they've probably been happy. But their recent results, was it 5-0, 5-1? I think it was to Aldershot, and most recently they've lost. So that, they're conceding goals, at quite a fast rate and knots, which will be of a real concern if you're a Solihull Moors fan. So for us, that probably bodes quite well. As I say, we were saying earlier on, the chances we create, we'd like to look to capitalise on that defensively. As I say, we're very assured. I don't see many concerns in regards to that. It's about taking those chances now. We said earlier on with the Hartlepool game that the opportunities were there for the taking. And the longer the games go on and we're not taking that, that's where people will start getting a bit nervous. So I'm sure that we will create plenty of opportunities, and it's just down to whether or not how many we can take.
Yeah, I mean, we went there last year, 4-2, we won. Bim Petball, do you remember Bim? Great player for us.
Yeah.
Shame we lost him.
Yeah.
He scored a couple. Maybe this is the game for Dallas to open his account. Speaking to him, in the interview, he said obviously he knows the ground well, scored a lot of goals there. He obviously fancies it. It'd be a great game for him to get underway. Take one off his backside. I don't think he'll care how it goes in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As you say, it's going back to an old ground, the old club that he knows fairly well. Had an okay time there by looks of things, but he'll want to come back. He'll want to have a point to prove that he's gone on to better things, and yeah, I'm sure he'll have a bit between his teeth. I'll be going up there. It's quite a close ground. You're right on top of the pitch, so it makes for a great atmosphere. And to be fair, it's not a bad playing service they've got there. So it's quite we'll want to get the ball on the ground and play our football and put it to them.
Now, team, team news. It looks like obviously Ralph is out. Goody came off. He told me it was a dead leg as well, which is a bit of a worry. Obviously, he started fantastically well. Our options are getting more limited, aren't they? At the back there, obviously, if we lose him, you've obviously got Crowther still is around. What do you see Kev doing if obviously he is out?
I mean,
Kev,
if Good lifts out, then
what are you going to do?
yeah. I mean, fingers crossed that it's just a bit of a dead leg and a bit of tightness following, the travel and the short games in real quick concession. Hopefully, it's nothing to worry about. But I mean, if it is that he isn't available and Ralph's still unavailable, then I'd imagine Croth is going to probably just will come in to take that place. But then, could we see Wind coming in as well, going to a flat back four with Taylor coming into the middle, pushing Gus on down? There's some options available for Kev, but I would imagine that it would be a Crowther would be to be coming in to take that spot.
Now, obviously, Josh Walker was left out the weekend. Nor actually looked exhausted sitting down in that dugout. And it's unlike Nor. Every player you talk to in teammates, you ask who's the best trainer, and they all say Nor. And he does.
Yeah.
People knock him. Sometimes he gives the ball away. All players do. But his energy levels are unbelievable. So for him to obviously not play Saturday, he must have been exhausted. But yeah, he obviously will probably come back in, I would imagine. What about Josh Walker?
Yeah, I mean, I can see him probably coming into the bench. I mean, obviously Hopper came on against Hartlepool. I just feel, I think our front two will be Kendall and Dallas. Don't think that will change. I know Kev said that Kendall cramped up a little bit at the end of the game, but again, there's a lot of games that they've just played in a short period of time. So hopefully that's just something he'll have his rest and they'll work on that and he'll be fine, I'm sure. And then I would like to see Walker on the bench at least. I think I'll be honest. I think I prefer him over Hopper. I just think he gives us a little bit more. I think he's a little bit more dynamic. Hopper's obviously very, he can hold the ball up, but I think Walker gives us that other option of getting on the front foot, taking players on, and creating a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Walker kind of disappointed last season. I didn't think we saw the best out of him, but he started the season well.
No.
Obviously, got a goal first game. He's sort of gone off a bit again. Maybe just needed a couple of games to rest out and get going again. Because he's a player that can score goals, absolutely. And like you say, he's when he's driving at players with that ball, he is a handful.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, he started that first game at Gateshead absolutely on fire. And he looked like the Walker that we signed. And like you said, we know what he's capable of. We just haven't seen it on a regular basis at the moment, and we're just dying for him to rekindle that form this season. He'll be disappointed, I'm sure, that he's not been in the squad or has been on the bench. But as we keep touching on, that's going to be a regular thing this season. I think that the squad depth and the quality we've got now, that if people are performing, it's very hard to drop someone who's performing well. So he's got to take his chance when he is called upon to prove to Kev that he's the one that should be starting.
Yeah, it's good problem for Kev to have. We keep saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we want 3 points. I think we need to get after Monday's disappointment. Not finishing those chances. I think we need to go the Solihull, and they are there for the taking, I believe. So yeah, 3 points and a couple of goals would be good. Should we get an early prediction from you, Charlie?
Yeah. So I'm going to be as confident as ever. Again, I know it's an away game, but it's not. a million miles away. So we've had a few days rest, so I think players will be a bit more comfortable. And I can see a Southend win again. I'm going to go a 2-0 win. And I think that clean sheet will return again, and we'll come out confident 2-0 winners.
Well, I'll be in Poland, but I'll be following the game with a close eye. And I'm going to go. Do you know what I'm going to go with? I'm going to go for 5-0. I'm going for it. I fancy it,
Well,
5-0. It is time to get.
I hope you're right and not me, but
Alice 2 or 3.
a win either way. Yeah.
Yeah.
The interesting one will be what Emily says. It's what Emily will predict. That's the one that will go on, because she seems to be. She's doing all right at the moment. But like I said earlier on, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So we'll come good soon.
Yeah, hopefully she'll say 5-0. Hopefully, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the end of the show. We got there in the end, Charlie. We got there in the end.
We have. Oh, what a slog, but we made it.
Yeah. I couldn't hear about your aunt any more times.
She was getting a year older every time we tried to do
it. Okay, so we'll be back live. Hopefully next Monday, back to Mondays. Obviously, it was the bank holiday this weekend. Back to 6:30 next week. We'll be coming live from Poland. We'll have reaction from the Solihull game and the Southend Ladies Cup game against Conley Heath. And we've got our brilliant teammates from Keenan you've got to listen to. Very, very funny. And we'll also have an extensive interview with Charlie Edinburgh, CEO of the Justin Edinburgh Free Foundation. So let me just say thank you to Charlie, our sponsors, Surgical Holdings, and of course, all our listeners. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. There you go, Charlie, I did it. Up the Shrimpers, and we will see you soon.